Group, I can tell that right now. This is really fun. Again, my wife and I have 12 kids, so I mean, I'm used to a big group, but you guys kind of beat, when my group was the wildest, they didn't even come close to you guys, so this is pretty amazing. So, there's 4 of us here, and it's really an honor to be here. I guess there's 4.5. Well, maybe we got to give her a whole number there, actually. Just a little about me, a little background. My name is Randy Hekman, Hekman. I make my home down in Grand Rapids. We lived for a while in Williamston. A little bit about myself. I was a Navy officer in the Pentagon. Also went to law school while I was in the Navy. Anyone else from the Navy here? I bet there's a few. And after 3 years there, came back to Grand Rapids. Actually, it was Gerald R. Ford, who was our congressman at the time, and he said, if I were you, Randy, I'd go back to the prosecutor's office. So that's what I did. I was an assistant prosecutor for a couple of years. And then I ran for a probate judge at the age of 27 because I didn't like what was going on in juvenile court. Juvenile court was not responding very authoritatively to juvenile offenders. In fact, believe it or not, if you broke the law in Kent County as a juvenile, you'd be put on probation almost regardless of what crime you committed. And if you went to school the next day, they'd actually pay you money. And I said, I may be young, but there's something wrong with this. You can't reward people that break the law. So anyhow, I ran for judge against an incumbent. And I was an unknown, and I got elected, and then came the hard part of changing the court system. I was one of 3 judges, but we did, and we saw the juvenile crime rate come down. I really see what we're doing here similarly. I was a judge, by the way, for 15 years. Then I left that to start Michigan Family Forum here in Lansing. By the way, while I was a judge, I had a case involving abortion, and some of you remember this maybe a little bit back in 1982. I ended up writing a book about constitutional law and about judicial review and about how judges need to look at the actual language in the Constitution when they construe constitutional law, not make up law. Are we in favor of that or not? So after I wrote that book, I went around the country giving talks on what judicial review should be and what it should look like. And therefore, frankly, if I am elected to Senate, I hope I sit on the Judiciary Committee that looks at prospective justices of the Supreme Court and other judges, because I wouldn't know how to do that. So I left. I was recruited after being reelected a couple times as a judge. Nobody even ran against me, which was kind of neat. But then I left that judgeship voluntarily to start Michigan Family Forum in Lansing here. And I ran that for 6. Some of you are familiar with that organization. And so I founded that and ran that. We built this team up. We influenced things like charter school system came through, abstinence education, and other things that we lobbied for. And it was a good job, but after 6 years, I'm a builder. That's just how God has made me. I like to fix things and build things. And so since then, I've run 2 other nonprofits, the most recent of which, believe it or not, was an administrative pastor of a church in Grand Rapids called Crossroads Bible Church. 2 campuses, about 30% are college-age students. And I've expressed to a couple of you, I'd like to see more college-age kids here. And I want to recruit them for my campaign. I mean, they have a heart for our country themselves. And let me quickly, I've got probably just a few minutes left, and I want to take from my brethren here that I want to share with you as well. But very quickly, there's 4 quick things that I want to do in the campaign. One of them, and all of us are going to say this, we must reduce our federal budget. It's killing us. If we keep going the trends we are, 5 years from now or less, we are toast as a nation. We can't do that. We've been given this incredible privilege. This nation that we have is a gift from God. And a gift from the people that go before us, that shed their blood and gave of their energy and their intelligence to give it to us selflessly. And it's just like we're going to throw it away. And like I say, I've got 12 reasons to not just go into retirement at this point. My 12 kids. And they're all, by the way, you're thinking, adopted? He was a judge. No, one at a time. My wife had them, not me. I had the easy part. But she's a beauty, and that's part of the reason we have 12, maybe. But just, if you don't get it, just ask the guy next to you about that question. So, but they're special, and I can't say to those kids, can't just say, look, you deal with this $14 trillion debt, because I'm going to Florida. I can't do that in good conscience. I feel so compelled to be doing what I'm doing. I love it. I'm doing it full time now. All right, that's point one. Point two, very quickly. He said, okay, there's going to be this hue and cry that when the federal government cuts these budgets, all these hurting seniors and young people, everybody in the world is going to be hurting because the federal government is not dispensing all these dollars. So what's the answer? Well, the answer, we've already answered that question in our history of America. That answer is nonprofits. That answer is churches. That answer is people of goodwill. Amen. That's how we've done it in our whole history. Amen. This is not rocket science, people. That's what we're going to do. So that's actually what gets young people excited about what we're doing here. In fact, we're building actually a structure in Grand Rapids. I'm working on this thing part-time now to build the structure that's going to take the place of all the federal and state governmental welfare things, and it ought to be met as they ought to be met. And we want to use that and replicate that throughout our state. And the third point, that's point one, cut budget. Two is replace it as it should have been, and as it has been. Number three, encourage giving sacrificially to these nonprofits and churches, not just with our money, but with our time. I mean, I love you people. You guys are activists, and you know what I mean about giving and donating your time. And that's what we need to do to the nonprofits and the churches in our area to help the needs that are going to be created when government comes back. Fourth, when I go to Washington in 2013, and she comes home. Yes. Yes. I want to go, now it's just 51% of the vote. I want to go with at least 65% of the vote. That's the year I graduated from high school. I just like that number. All right. I want to go with 65% of the vote. And that's a mandate that says to the other people in Washington, cut that budget now. And number two, we in the state of Michigan have already started thinking about how we're going to handle this reduction and meet needs as we're supposed to meet them. Here's our example. This is what we're ready for. And if we in the state of Michigan, with the unemployment rate that we have, can do it, the other 49 states can do it as well. And we're going to be an example to them like we should be. So I want to thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.